You are listening to the 8% Nation podcast, created to help you become a top producer in the insurance industry. Enjoy the show.
Welcome to the 8% Nation podcast. This podcast is dedicated to helping insurance agents be a part of the 8%. I'm here with Cody Askins, the man, the myth, the legend, the founder of the 8% Nation Insurance Wealth Conference. Cody, why in the heck did you do this conference called the 8% Nation? Tell me a little bit about your journey.
We just have such an amazing looking team, and I thought, you know what? We need to show them off. Right, Dylan?
He's right.
No, it's something that's always been a passion of mine, literally, to throw events, to throw a conference. I had a dream. Most people know this. I had a dream as a kid to be a public speaker. I watched my grandfather as a Baptist pastor for decades, and I was like, I always wanted to be a speaker. And yeah, I got to speak at the Insurance Newsnet conference, and I've got to do a lot of breakouts at different conferences, and we've been traveling doing the live training tour. But I thought, you know what? It would probably give me a little credibility if we had a conference. It would also be a great way to bring our industry together and to really learn, right? And to really learn from each other. It'd be a great way to get a lot of power players in the same room. I'm big with like relationships and networks. Yep. You know, it's also something I've said a ton. As you can see, 8%. 92% of insurance agents fail. Yep. That's why we keep with this 8% theme. It's a bad number. I'm committed to really, trying to do my best to really help.
Let's unpack that a little bit. Let's just assume that those that are listening to this podcast don't follow our YouTube channel with, thousands of subscribers and 1,200 videos and don't really know you yet. This is a new medium. There's going to be new people introduced to your brand. Why don't you unpack the 8% number specifically for those that don't know what you're talking about?
Yeah, so about 92% of insurance agents fail in the first 3 years. We put out content constantly to help them. I was a new agent not too long ago. I started as an intern, calling out of the phone book before I knew you're not even really supposed to be doing that. And so, yeah. So I feel like I get and understand new struggling insurance agents. Most people in our business are not the dude making 7 figures, rolling in it, and traveling the world.
Yep.
Most of the people in our industry are struggling. Some even have part-time jobs. They're really struggling to make ends meet. They're really struggling to get out there and actually make sales. They don't know how to get in front of people. Their companies tell them not to buy leads, and there's all these different ways to succeed. All the different products, all the different carriers, commission levels, independent or captive. Holy freak, I don't know what to do.
Yep.
Right? There's a lot. And so I want to be the guy that they can go to really learn some knowledge and really help them. I was very fortunate to earn $117,361.13 in my first 8 months as a full-time agent in this industry. And I thought, if I can do that, working for one company, selling one product, I can probably help some other people too.
Right on. Well, why don't you kind of explain to me and everybody that's listening, if you made $117,000 in 8 months being that producer, that's quite a baton and momentum that you had moving, that you chose to set down and choose to train agents instead. I'd like for you to kind of walk us through why you chose to move. You're still a producer. You still have an agency, right? You still do some.
Yeah, we have a call center in-house that writes. Yeah. I mean, I've always, I still go out with agents. I've went out with 2 new agents this year.
Yep.
And closed them both. I'm 100% for the year.
So why'd you choose to train and put a lot of your effort into training other people produce as opposed to producing yourself? Just walk me through that.
I always had a greater passion for helping new agents. I remember when I was a new agent doing well my first few years, the company I was with, our local office would get calls about, what's that kid doing? Or I've got a team in Minnesota, can he help some of my new agents? Or what is he doing that I can tell my new agents to do? Or I would have people from Mississippi wanting me to, talk to them and to explain what I'm doing. Or I would have a agency manager saying, hey, can you come up here? Can you drive 4 hours to like door knock with my new agents? Because you're doing a lot of door knocking and that's like part of your prospecting strategy. And so I would go do that. And then they would be like, I've never sold anything from door knocking. And then we would write two life insurance policies in like a matter of like 3 or 4 hours from cold door knocking. And I would see this like mental shift for them and this motivation, this challenge. And like internally, they're like excited.
Yep.
And I got more out of that and helping them make money than I did me going and making $3,000.
That's awesome.
I just did. And it was just and I always recognized it, but I thought, no, everybody's, that's making a ton of money typically does it a different way. They either recruit or they sell. So just focus on selling. But always, like all the time, I even started a local mentorship program in Springfield, Missouri. Like I was always adding these new elements that ended up having me focused on helping somebody else.
Yep.
I just got like my energy comes from that when we get comments from somebody in literally, we got a dude named Simon in the UK that watches our stuff religiously.
Yeah.
And he'll be up in the middle of the night watching our live shows and stuff. And I just get like almost break down in tears and just get so motivated by stuff like that.
Yeah.
I just
Well, we've been doing some, and just to give you guys an update on me, I'm Cody's VP of marketing that I help him with his marketing of his other brands. We also have partnered with Secure Agent Marketing, which is a marketing agency specifically built to serve the insurance industry specifically.
And he won't say it, but the dude is a marketing freak.
I know a few things, right? We'll get into my story later. That's not what the point of this podcast is.
Like Giannis Antetokounmpo is the Greek freak of the NBA, right?
Marketing freak. Is that where you're going?
You're the marketing freak of
I'm
insurance.
I'm as tall as him.
You
Actually,
are?
no, he's a 7-footer. I'm only 6'9".
Close enough.
That's all right. But one of the things, I've been traveling with this guy for 8 weeks now. We've went to how many cities in the last 8 weeks?
15?
15 cities.
Something like
we're
that.
talking New Orleans, Little Rock, Dallas, Houston, Charlotte, Memphis. I mean, really north.
Nashville, Tampa, Austin,
Sheesh,
San Antonio, Houston. Yep.
So we spent a lot of time on the road getting to know each other. Before that, he was my client, so I knew him, before that as well. But really got to know him over the last 8 weeks. And one of the things that I've been going to these live trainings. Will you mind providing a little bit of context of what that live training is, why you did it? What was the purpose of that whole deal, real quick?
The main and actually the purpose has shifted, but the main purpose originally, it seems like that's always how it works. The main purpose originally was, okay, let's go out, provide a lot of value, help train some insurance agents, and oh, by the way, we've got a conference coming up in a few months. Hopefully you'll attend.
Yep.
Right? And I'm not ashamed to say that. And we got there, and then I learned that 2/3 of the room had no clue who we were.
Yep.
And so it was almost but they saw a ton of value. The energy was ridiculous for 2 hours.
Yeah.
They're leaving like, dude, I want more. This is unbelievable.
Yeah. There's a hunger there for sure.
Yeah. And so it ended up serving multiple purposes. Yeah, we were helping provide a lot of value for actually free. Oh, and we were getting a lot of attention and more people were learning about us because of that.
Well, one of the things that stuck out with me at these trainings was we had multiple people come up to us in multiple cities and say, I almost quit the insurance business. Like I was out at the door.
One dude in Memphis.
Yeah. And I watched your videos. Dude, if you were, 18 playing college ball and could do what you did, being a producer, like I'm back in and I'm motivated now. I probably heard that in every city we went to, which is why we do this, right? That's the goal of what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? So, it's one thing to produce 1,200 videos on YouTube and have this sort of content machine that pumps out. It's another thing to go to these cities of the people where they're watching us and have them say, I've been watching your videos for a year and you've helped me a ton, And so that's just been an interesting sort of metamorphosis that I've watched where I didn't, it's one thing to get behind a camera, but to meet these people that are 19, it's changing their lives and it's super fun.
I didn't think we would be benefiting the amount of people we are.
Yep.
I was committed to the cause, however long it took.
Yep.
And I thought it was going to take decades.
Yep.
3.5 years later, we have the largest YouTube channel for training insurance agents.
Which is what? Plug it. It's
Cody Askins.
Just Google or YouTube it.
Cody Askins on YouTube. We're approaching 10,000 subscribers. It's growing 600 subscribers a month. It's flying off the shelves. It's crazy. People are, if you're someone that's struggling and you're looking to learn along the way and be better at the craft of selling insurance, that's a pretty good channel for it.
Is there a YouTube channel that's producing more content in the insurance training industry?
No.
Is there a channel that's larger than what you've done?
No.
Okay. So if, you're hearing this podcast for the first time, this is a new medium, you got to go over to YouTube and check out the channel and just kind of get involved with some of the content. You could get lost in his content, right? But so the 8% Nation conference, we just did the live trainings. We did this big old tour. We got a couple more coming up in terms of the trainings. But why don't you, if you could say what is, let's just say three main things, or try and focus this sort of conversation on what would you encourage an agent to make sure to do to be a part of the 8%, right? What are those three things, or what are three things that they could do?
Yeah, I mean, the main thing I learned as a new agent was, okay, I've got to get in front of people to make sales.
Yeah.
Kind of funny how that works.
Yeah.
But most agents don't know what to do to get in front of people. So if I had to give like three things, I had to pick three at this moment. It seems to shift all the time. I'm always coming up with new stuff, I guess. But at this point for me, if I'm speaking to a new agent struggling, it's you need a consistent flow of people to talk to, okay? No matter what that is, all right? Actually, let me back up. First, you need a target and a goal.
Yeah.
That's everything I do. You got to have a target and a goal. What is your objective? What's the why? And then behind that, I wrote it down. I wrote down, I want to make 100K my first year. I signed it, dated it, put it up in my cubicle, and looked at it every single day, right?
What was that goal?
It was hey, I want to earn $100,000 this year.
Okay.
And I want to win the top company incentive trip for the company I was with. And I wrote that down, and I signed it. My dad signed it. We dated it. I put it in my cubicle. And if you don't say that, like putting something out there and making it public and writing it down and signing it and committing to it if you say that doesn't work, it's always worked for me. So, okay, that's step number one. Commit, right? What's the target? Step two, you got to have people to talk to.
Yep.
All right. And then step three, you got to figure out what is your way of really diving in and learning. And so that's what we created Success Society too. It's a way to like learn stuff all along the way, because this industry is all about, okay, I want to make $200,000. Okay, great. $4,000 a week. What do you need to do to make $4,000 a week? And then you kind of break down your numbers and back into it.
Yep.
Once you commit, and okay, I got to sit down with 12 people a week to make $4,000. If that's the case, then you probably need to set, 24 appointments, sit with 16, make 12 sales, whatever the case is. Figure out your numbers, and then as you're learning, be focused on being really consistent every single week.
You touched on briefly, one of those points was just investing in yourself, right?
Yeah.
Investing in resources. There's different scales. I mean, we have a client that spends $100,000 a year just on one coach.
Yep.
I know you spend quite a bit.
Yep.
Why don't you talk a little bit about?
I spend $30K.
I believe that in this insurance industry, the potential is limitless. Good grief. And I believe that a pillar of success is really investing in yourself and getting around people that have a different mindset than maybe that can challenge you. Why don't you talk a little bit about, maybe what you do to invest in yourself, what you would maybe recommend someone does to invest in their self as well. Just kind of talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, that's something that it's something that I ignored. I'm a naturally super competitive, confident, sometimes in the past even cocky individual.
Yeah.
I just am, okay? And for me, I'm the guy that feels like I can put my team on my back and just figure it out.
Yep.
But there's better ways to figure it out.
Yep.
And so the last 12 to 18 months, you say, well, your brands have skyrocketed. Your channel is 4 or 5x, all true. But it's because I put my ego aside. I left my arrogant self at the door and said,
Yep.
hey, I want more. I want to grow. I want to learn. And the first place I noticed it was when we went to 10X. I went to 10X GrowthCon 2 with Lauren, sat front row with 9,000 people in Vegas, Cardone's conference. And that was the first time that I realized not only how much events can change people's lives, because it changed mine.
Yep.
It just did. But also, there's people out there that have been successful. They know how to help you be successful. Oh, and by the way, you should probably plug in and learn from them so that you can speed up the success and really sprint to success.
Yep.
Instead of just wanting to fail 8 million times along the way.
Yep.
And you still will, but maybe we can only fail 4 million times instead of 8. You know
Exactly.
what I mean?
So you mentioned, how much did you spend for those tickets at 10X?
$15,000.
And I bet that check wasn't easy to cut.
15,000, and I've never spent that much in anything other than like a house or a car before ever. Dude, it was so hard. We threw it on a business credit card.
Walk me through the mental wrestling match you had, and most likely wrestling match you had with your wife. Was it like, did you have to talk her into it? Was she all on board? Tell me about that. That's got to be a story.
You can see I'm like squirming and getting uncomfortable in my seat because I've like not talked about this stuff, especially if you're watching on camera. Gosh, she's been super supportive, but we both were like, holy crap, it's $15,000.
Yep.
That's a lot of zeros, especially if you include, the cents, right? But I knew, and that's what happens is at some point you just know by me doing this, it's going to pay off long term.
Yep.
You can see it. The last so long, it's been all about long-term investments. I did a video not too long ago about, do you think short-term or long-term? Everything we've been doing, we've been investing millions, and actually millions, into helping people more and more long-term.
Yep.
That's what we create 8% Nation. Most people know we spent $500,000-$600,000 on 8% Nation last year. That's a lot more than $15K.
And I don't think there's any other insurance conference in this country that's doing that, right? I mean, I haven't heard of it.
Not that's not a carrier or IMO affiliated recruiting focused deal.
Yeah.
Most are like, there's some that are focused on like just software technology. Ours is kind of an all encompassing, fun, modern, hip, young way to bring people together and to really help you sprint to success.
Yep. So let's talk, one of the reasons we're doing this podcast is, to promote the conference that's coming up. Why don't you talk a little bit about, cast us a vision. Where can they go to check it out first off? Also, what's your heart behind it? Like what's the stuff that we can talk about now that isn't on the website and is in the flyers?
Yeah. 8percentnation.com. We're at this point as we're recording this, because it's not live, we've got less than 40 seats left for VIP. Less than 30 seats left for Premier. General admission is past sold out. It's kind of hotels practically full. We're getting down to like the last minutes.
Wait, let's talk about that.
I'll add seats and create opportunity for people. Like I don't want to hold anybody back. I'll let you hang out in my suite. You know what I mean? I don't care.
You rented the whole hotel, correct?
Yeah, we rented a brand new 5-star hotel in downtown Dallas. They just built it last year.
Okay. We
committed to renting out and taking every room, every restaurant, every ballroom, every room.
That's amazing.
Every suite in the entire place.
Let's let that sink in. Downtown Dallas. I'm sure you have downtown Dallas, the Statler.
Yep.
Wasn't a cheap. You could have picked a more.
I thought it was going to be less
way.
than it was. It always ends up being more than you think.
Yeah. But quite a sacrifice to. But meet everybody. Meet as many people as we can, right?
We did it at Nissan Stadium first.
True.
With Cardone and Ray Lewis and a bunch of amazing speakers. You can't go backwards.
Why?
Right?
Why take steps back?
The reason why we're doing this is it's like I talked about how the conference changed my life. I talked about how I love helping struggling insurance agents. This is the best way I know how.
Yep.
Just spend 2 days with me and Landon and our entire team and learn from everyone. Like you'll pick up stuff watching Dylan walking around with a video camera that you wouldn't get to know unless you freaking hang out with us, you know? Like that stuff, the behind the scenes stuff, getting to know speakers, walking up to the dude making $11 million a year.
Yeah.
At a VIP party and getting to pick his brain. Where else can you do stuff like that?
You can, man. Well, one of the things that I think most excited about with 8% Nation and just the brand overall of what you're doing is there's a new generation of insurance agent that's coming up.
Yep.
And when we're all taught and, there's all these like training structures and everything built up and it's kind of like old and crusty, honestly.
Yeah.
It's not like fresh and new. And that's one of the things that I love about what we're doing. We rented, the Statler, the most, elegant hotel downtown Dallas. And also there's going to be a lot of younger insurance agents there. A lot of the speakers are younger. Not that we can't glean wisdom from the older individuals and learn from them.
Yeah.
But there's a new generation that looks to YouTube to train and, wants to understanding how to leverage social media to, develop a lead flow, et cetera. And that's one of the things I'm having fun with, is that there's all these younger guys and gals.
And they're wanting to like spike their hair up perfectly, and they're like, "How do I do that? Are you guys
need that tip.
Are you going to touch on that? Right,
Exactly.
Dylan, are you going to speak on that?
He's going to put together a keynote on how to spike your hair. No, I mean, that's what I love about this insurance industry as well, is that there's a new generation coming up. Eric DeJohn, some of these guys that, Felix, 22, 25, 28, 29-year-old guys that are just crushing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like so fun to watch, and help support them and be a part of what, their success a little bit.
That's another thing we've been doing. Renting out 9,000 and 15,000 square foot mega mansions to hang out for a retreat.
That wasn't a joke.
Like, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's fun.
Those are immensely powerful. That's events.
Yep.
I am sold on how events can help you grow.
Yep.
If I have to think about it real quick, we've probably 8 to 12x'd our companies, and it's probably greater than that once you throw in how freaky fast secure agent marketing is growing in the last 18 months.
Yep.
Because I started going to events and wanting to learn. If that can happen for me and us, don't you think it can happen for others too?
Dude, and once you get around, like, there's just this, I've always been looking for people that I can look side to side and sprint with. It's so hard to find.
It's really difficult to
those
find
individuals that you can really sprint with. And the big part of 8%, not just the conference, but the brand overall, and Success Society and all these types of things that we're doing, is just getting a group of people where we can have some accountability, sprint together, have some fun. This insurance industry sometimes, you mentioned in your live training, how many of you guys at the career fair, whenever you were 10 years old, raised your hand and said, "I want to do insurance"? You know what I mean? Very few people did that.
Career day, they dressed as an insurance agent. How do you, what do you even do?
Yeah, it wasn't really, but at the same time though, like, it's business and we're entrepreneurs and we're using insurance as a product to grow our business. And we got to find guys that are businessmen and gals that are businesswomen and just sprint together and have a lot of fun, And so that's one of the things, you've done retreats, you've done trainings, you got 8% Nation, Success Society. Why don't you touch just a little bit on Success Society, what that is, how to get involved, what does that look like, just while we're talking about it?
There's a weekly accountability call. There's monthly coaching with co-hosts. There's quarterly marketing sessions. It's my way of creating a power player network where we can hold you accountable and help you grow without recruiting you.
Yeah.
I don't want to recruit anybody.
Nope.
Every week.
I think that's key. Why don't you recruit?
A whole year.
Why don't you recruit?
I used to. I want to help you in a different way. Everybody recruits. More power to them. Fantastic. I want to be the dude that is like Eric or Felix or these others that I can still help you reach your goal of 170K in the last 8 months of the year without actually needing to recruit you and earn an override, and I don't. And I do it because I also want to be the guy that, at the end of the day, this is tough to do, but I like getting along with everybody. And in our industry, you can't get along with everybody if you recruit.
True.
We've traveled and met some power players that are spending 120 grand a month on marketing, and we're managing it and helping them. And we wouldn't have had those opportunities if I was just trying to recruit everybody.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's, at the end of the day, if I want to help every insurance agent in the world, I can't do that while recruiting, because your manager would tell you not to come hang out with me.
Yeah.
When in reality, they should be comfortable to know that I'm going to help you. It's going to benefit him, and I'm going to do it without recruiting.
That's incredible. And it makes a lot of sense because it kind of goes against the brand. Tell me a little bit about, you have what I call a BHAG, a big, hairy, audacious goal, right? Like, so what is the biggest goal you have?
Never heard that.
BHAG? Big, hairy, audacious goal, So for 8%, just your, Cody Askins, what's your BHAG? What's your big, hairy, audacious goal, man?
I hate seeing agents fail, and I write it down twice a day.
But what's that
Most
big
of the time.
goal? What's that big goal that you're striving for?
Help every insurance agent in the world. And which sounds so unrealistic.
Yep.
But right now it seems so realistic because we have a conference. We have 600 to 800 people in attendance. We're doing close to $10 million collectively, with our companies, and we're putting out so much content, and our subscriber base is growing by 600 a month. It should be 2,000 a month, 10,000 a month. Like, I'm not satisfied with it. I got somebody that wants me to travel to Africa to train some agents in Africa.
I remember that guy.
I think it's more possible than I'm realized. It's starting to like catch on that like the more we do, the more possible that is. Like, I want to be the guy that flies to Toronto and Paris and Egypt to train people. I don't care if I have to have a translator. Like, I want to be there. I want to own a plane that does that.
Yep.
And it will happen. Like, you heard it here first. Right now we're recording this. I don't care if I say the date. We ain't releasing it yet. It's July 3rd. It's July 3rd of 2019.
Yep.
It's going to happen.
You will have a plane.
I'll have a plane in the next 12 months.
12 months. There you go. There's your goal. So your big, hairy, audacious goal is to help every insurance agent in the world. But let's dial that back just a little bit and talk about like your 5-year plan of 8% Nation. Walk me through,
Yep.
you know.
We're going to get you a secure agent marketing polo, by the way.
I know, man. What am I doing with this green golf shirt? What's your 5-year plan of 8% Nation, the conference, that brand, you know, in 5 years? What are we striving towards to help every insurance agent in the world? What does that look like to you?
Mine is, what's funny is when we get almost 1,000 people in a room, it doesn't feel like enough to me. I'm like, but then I talk to like people that are hanging out with celebrities and major coaches and players and, you know, big people in our industry. And they're like amazed when I say we're going to have 700 in attendance this year.
Yeah.
I just released the idea of the conference 12 months ago.
Yep.
You know, and we're on the number 2. I guess it's incredible because it's so tough to get people in a room, supposedly. But long term, I want it to have consistent growth. I want it to get bigger and better and more attractive, because when things get bigger, better, more attractive, without having to pitch everybody and recruit everybody, more people are attracted to it. More people attend, then you're able to help more people. Then they're able to go back and make more sales and more money and impact their family. And before you know it, their family owns a, you know, freaking lake house and has a boat, and they're not, you know, struggling. They're succeeding. And it's, for instance, we have team members over the last couple months. We've had multiple team members roll up in new to them or new nice vehicles.
Yeah.
I get more excited about that than my wife buying me a Jaguar convertible. I just do. You know what I mean? Duker rolling up in a new car yesterday. Like, that's freaking cool.
Andy got one?
Andy got, yeah. It just makes me smile. Same thing with helping agents. I guess that's why we do what we do, man. I just enjoy being energetic. Providing some value and actually seeing like a lot of people say that stuff. I get excited by seeing other people grow and succeed. Like, you said something in our meeting this morning that you may want to repeat, that you were talking to our team, and gosh, I got excited.
Well, it's ridiculous how much I really believe that we are going to grow a $100 million a year company brand. Between the brands that we have going on right now, we will do $100 million a year, and mark my words. It may take 15 years. I may be 50. I'm 35 now. We may be 50 by the time we get there, but we will build a brand. And you can't do that without amazing people that are wanting to sprint and run and sacrifice along the way.
And 35 is old around here.
I know. Sheesh, I'm the grandpa. Literally, the average age of this office is what, 23?
Uncle Landon.
So, yeah, it's just been...
How old are you, Dylan? 26.
We're getting there. And I think we have a team that wants to go there too, you know?
Oh, 100%. They see the vision, you know? They see the growth over the last couple of years. They want to be a part of it. Like, I want every person in our company financially free and making tons of money one day. You know, I just do. My wife wants even more. If that's possible. So it's
I've never seen somebody every meeting, she gets so jacked up and excited, she's almost in tears.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, you can tell that's what drives her also.
It does.
You know?
It
it's
does.
super fun to watch.
It's crazy cool.
So I wanted to ask you one more question, then we'll kind of wrap it up. So last year was your first 8% Nation conference. You held it at Nissan Stadium. Grant Cardone was there. You had awesome speakers. Walk me through.
We went big, baby.
Oh, dude. And I think, I know that the respect that you got from taking the risk that you did was quantifiable. You know what I'm saying? That kind of thing, right?
There's something to talk about there, but go ahead. Yeah.
Walk me through what you. Well, if you want to talk about it now, this is a casual deal. Is that you want to go there now?
I think I do, only because I'm better now, and the silence is great for podcast, like it is for radio. I've done a sports radio show for a few years in Springfield, so I understand that. So there's something about doing something that you do not think you can pull off. There's something about that. There's something about committing and renting part of Nissan Stadium to throw an insurance conference where you've got Hall of Fame linebackers and dudes making hundreds of millions speaking.
Yeah. Grant Cardone was
there. Tim Story, he's a coach and a movie star and a movie director in Hollywood. There's all kind of a lot of industry guys. There's something about I am a different human being and think differently 12 months later because of that. That was the biggest. If I had to pinpoint one thing that has changed the way I operate and live and take on a day, it's that.
Yeah.
It's that. It's the releasing of that. I remember I'm sitting in a pool Memorial Day last year, and me and my dad are talking, and we're talking about these other conferences, and he's like, "Do you want to do one that has nothing to do with recruiting?
Yep.
Has nothing to do with a carrier, nothing to do with an IMO, but just tries to get everyone together in a fun, exciting way."
There it is.
And I'm like, "Gosh," he's like, "You could pull that off." Well, he believed me more than I did.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, "Could I really?"
Yeah.
I didn't even believe I could.
Yeah.
Even when I'm releasing it, I'm like, in the back of my head, yeah, you're nuts. This ain't going to happen. But now, that one thing is, so that's why I want to challenge people right now. Do something stupid big that you don't think you could do, because we only live once.
Yep.
It's amazing what you can pull off. And I want you to look back in a decade and realize that was the pivotal moment for you that changed everything.
It's exciting to watch this thing. I'm just now on the team for the last 8 or 9 weeks, but we were working together, prior to that, and just to watch your brands grow and your following grow with you. We're getting what? How many subscribers a day are we getting? I mean, every month we're
getting at least 20 subscribers a day.
And that's because if we wouldn't do all the things that we're doing, you wouldn't do all the things you're doing if you truly weren't passionate about it. I mean, would you really be producing?
You wouldn't be consistent and keep it up.
Yeah. Yeah. So walk me through what you learned.
Because everyone can say they want to help people.
Exactly.
But they won't put out as much and stay consistent about it and do as much as we are.
I want to help you succeed. Be a part of my team, my downline, so I can make an override on you. I want to help you succeed, but I want to tug at the, that's not that people are being disingenuous. It's just we want to help you succeed, and we don't want to recruit you, right? So walk me through what you learned from last year to this year. So you had your first 8%. Walk me through what's different about this 8%. How's it better? How's it grown? What are some pivotal things that people can expect this year that they maybe didn't get last year? Or just walk me through. Is there anything like that? We haven't really discussed this yet. This is kind of impromptu.
Yeah, there's several. We had a lot of vendors. We had a lot of recruiters. We're gonna have a dozen vendors this year.
Cool.
None of which will be recruiting. I'm trying to make it. It was this grand spectacle, which was awesome, but I'm like, okay, how can we slowly grow it while still keeping it intimate and exclusive? So we're gonna pack out a ballroom. It's the Statler. We're going to provide other intimate experiences where we're doing live speaker Q&A. People are craving knowledge.
Yeah.
They're craving access. They're craving hanging out with someone and learning from them. I'm doing private suites in my hotel room, private hangouts.
Yeah.
We're doing a VIP party off-site. We're doing, we're doing a private suites where I go hang out with some teams. We're doing a private lounge where they get lunch. We didn't have lunch last year. We didn't have nice, comfy seats. The temperature wasn't great. Nobody got water and coffee and food. The elements people crave, the small things that you forget.
Yeah.
We are not the experience. We are not ignoring this year.
Yeah. Good.
And we've got even special stuff that we can't talk about yet because people don't know about them yet.
Yeah.
So we learned a ton. You want to learn a lot? Go throw an event.
Yeah, no doubt, dude. Well, hey, so I'm going to put you on the spot. I want you to answer this question as quick as possible, so I don't want you to think about it. If I had to nail you down and say, what are you most excited about for this year's 8%, what would you say? Now, go. What are you most excited about? There's a million things, but what are you most excited about?
I'm most excited about, I'm doing live training from stage, and I'm letting people in on some stuff on a whiteboard. Andy, listen to this, dude. Make sure you have a whiteboard. I'm letting people in on some stuff behind the scenes that we've done, that we're doing to crave all that attention and to grow and to scale an operation, or things I did as a new agent that I maybe haven't released on video before. I'm going to be on stage more.
Yep.
I'm going to be speaking. I'm going to be interviewing. We realized from other events that interviews are really powerful. Landon and I are going to be on stage a lot.
Yep.
You know, unpacking a lot of marketing and lead gen stuff that most people don't know.
But crave
That kind of stuff, you will pick up 10x the knowledge this year than you did last year. I can guarantee it.
Yeah.
And last year, people left saying, this is unbelievable.
Yep.
I've never been to a better conference. I learned more than I ever learned.
Yep.
Just wait for 2019.
Yep.
Gosh.
If I had to say what I'm most excited about, I genuinely am most excited about the networking component. I can't wait.
Most people forget that.
I can't wait to be at the Statler. Every room is booked with 8% Nationers. Is that a term?
Yeah, you're going to walk out of your room and meet someone that's maybe making $1,000 a week or maybe making $100,000 a week.
But imagine that experience. We just booked a whole hotel. We're all part of this big tribe. We're all marching towards the same goal. We're all locking arms. We're all have similar struggles.
Yep.
We all have similar goals. We all have similar challenges. We all have similar situations, and we can lock arms, learn from each other, have fun. I'll bet you if you don't come to this thing expecting networking to be one of the most valuable portions of this deal, the content from stage is great. The marketing stuff's great. The vendor stuff's great. The speakers are great. We're hearing from amazing speakers. It's going to be a lot of fun, but I really believe the VIP parties, the networking, aspects, we may leave, like I'm going to see 15 of my clients that I haven't seen in a while that are my friends.
Yeah.
And we all get to have dinner and hang out and talk about, hey, Felix, remember when 8 months ago you went to Phoenix with us and we mapped out how you're going to make, what was $170,000 for the
last 8 months of the
okay.
year.
So where are you at in your goals?
Yeah.
Well, I happen to actually know where he's at in his goals because we're friends and he texts me.
Yeah.
And he happened to be top 3 producers in his top 3 of his downline or whatever
company
it was.
Certain division in 1 week. Yeah.
And it was incredible, so I can't wait for that component as well. So
most people ignore that. I think people get just as much, if not more, out of that than even the keynotes and all the trainings is the networking, the relationships, spending time people learning stuff. I pick up stuff that's why I crave going to trips and events and stuff like that, because I pick up stuff, man. You're going to pick up something in the hallway that you didn't know.
I mean, imagine watching, you can pick up stuff from one of Cody's videos 18 months ago. Imagine what it's going to be like to sit there, because he's going to be at all the events. You have access to him. You'll be able to come up to him and say, dude,
whatever you want.
I watched your video on how to make, $4,000 a week and changed my perspective. It increased my, whatever that is. And he's going to be there. Coach Bert's going to be there. All these people are going to be there. So anyways, is there anything else you want to kind of, speak to? This video is going to be going out before 8%. So any challenges, anything you want to speak to the group, to the audience about?
Yeah, I want to challenge them that most people, when they get a chance to do something big in life, and I'm sitting up because I'm getting excited, they tend to think about it. They don't commit. They say, you know what? I've got something else going on.
Maybe next year.
Yeah, I got to check the flights.
Yeah.
Maybe next year. Most people, when a door opens in front of them, they move backwards.
Yep.
Successful people move forwards.
Yep.
And you're at a pivotal moment in your life and in your career and in your business that if you're not moving forward and learning and coming to stuff like this, you may not regret it today, but in 6 months, you'll have wished you showed up. So let's just go ahead and rewind 6 months and say, let's commit now.
Yep.
Let's go.
Yep.
Let's do it. And let's realize that it's going to be one of the most valuable things you've ever done.
Well, we're going to be talking to there's just little things that could literally change the trajectory of your future. We're getting ready to hear from a Medicare producer that does $2.2 million of residual income.
Yep.
If you're a Medicare producer, you're going to probably want to listen to this guy. And what if he says something that changes the trajectory of the way you do business? That doesn't have a little impact.
One thing
That's
could
a major impact.
have a multi-million-dollar. One piece of advice can have a multi-million-dollar outcome. And imagine picking up 24 of those little ideas.
I mean, if you don't walk away with nuggets of
then you didn't want to.
Yeah,
you like put headphones in and didn't listen or speak to anyone.
I was a basketball player growing up. Surprise, surprise! I'm 6'9", right? And I had a coach that used to say something to me all the time that it's always stuck with me in business. He used to say every time we do drills, he'd say, "You're going through the motions. You're going through the motions. You're not working hard. You're just going through the motions. You're not thinking about it. You're just going through the motions. Don't do that. What are we doing, right? What are we? Why are we here if you're not going to work your butt off and you're not going to listen?" So my challenge would just be, don't get in the insurance game because you want to collect a check and it's your easiest way to a check and you're just going through the motions. Commit, go, invest in yourself, take risks, build a business. Insurance is right now is just our product.
Right.
Build a business. And if you can't, you're going to be around businessmen, entrepreneurs at this conference. If you're not picking up something that's going to change your life, then like I said, you're going through the motions, man.
Don't go through the motions.
So, anyways, any other parting words as
you heard it here first from the 6'9" marketing freak himself.
Copyright it, Dylan. Make a note. We're copywriting that.
Don't go through the motions, man. I love it. I like it, dude. At the end of the day, it's pivotal moments like this that successful people look back on and say, "I'm glad I did, man. I'm glad I did."
All right. Well, anything else, buddy?
I'm good, man. Thanks for the interview,
What's
bro.
the dates?
It's July 26th, 27th. You got a little bit of time, right? And you say, well, it's too late. Hypothetically, if $10 million was sitting in a chest in Dallas and you had to get there tomorrow, do you think you'd show up?
I think I'd get there. I think I would hitchhike.
I think I'd find a way, bro.
I think I would hitchhike. All right, man. Well, appreciate your time, dude. We're going to be doing more of these. We're going to put this on YouTube. I would love to see comments of future podcast topics.
Absolutely.
Anything you guys want us to copy down and produce and prepare. These are meant to be more longer form, casual conversations, not as much produced, more of a just a casual get to know Cody and his team. We're going to have interviews. If there's individuals you want us to interview, reach out. Thanks for joining us on our first inaugural podcast, man.
That's right, bro. To more to come. More to come. Good thing your home's
Dylan,
along.
thanks for hooking it up. We'll talk to you soon.
Appreciate you guys.